Good morning. Our lesson this morning is on new beginnings in 2011. And now here's David to read our scripture for this morning.
Scripture reading is the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5, verses 1 through 16. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up to the mountain, and he sat down, and his disciples drew near to him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, "Blessed are the humble, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for justice, for they shall be well satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall have mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they are called the sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for the sake of justice, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when men approach you, when men reproach you and persecute you, and speak against you every kind of evil, falsely for my sake. Then be glad and rejoice, for your reward is increased in heaven. For in this very manner they persecuted the prophets who were before you. You are indeed the salt of the earth, but if the salt shall lose its savor, with what could it be salted? It would not be worth anything but to be thrown outside and to be trodden by men. You are indeed the light of the world. A city that is built upon a mountain cannot be hidden. Nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, so that it gives light to all who are in the darkness. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." And now, Reverend Macaulay will give us our lesson sermon.
Thank you, David. Well, as we enter a new year, it's 2011 and the second day of the new year. We're here at our first Sunday service in 2011. Another year seems to have flown by, and now we begin another new year. Recently, I spoke about how we owe a debt of gratitude to those who came before us, because many of those people did things which opened up doors that allow us to have more freedom. Rosa Parks refused to sit in the back of the bus, so that eventually no one in America was relegated to take a seat in the back of the bus, because they weren't to be treated equally in the eyes of all Americans. His one bold act of defiance opened the doors to allow equal rights in what was a very difficult struggle for all involved. Now that we're starting a new year, we have one of those rare opportunities to make a fresh start. There are several opportunities to make a fresh start. The new year is one, Easter is another, going back to school in September, or coming back from a vacation away from home. Congress starts a new term in January, and we have these periodic opportunities to make a fresh start. And this morning, since we're on the brink of a new year, I simply want to suggest that you take this opportunity to make a fresh start for yourself. Do something outrageous, as Rosa Parks did. Do a random act of kindness. Surprise yourself and be creative. It doesn't matter what you do, just do something out of the ordinary. Pay it forward. Our lives are full of blessings, more than we can count. Often we fail to remember just how fortunate we are. I spent some time reflecting on the past year. For me, it's been an extraordinary year filled with blessings. I've moved from a condo into a house, traveled through Alaska and Mexico, lost a good bit of weight. I've become a legal registered domestic partner, and overall, life is treating me well, and I'm grateful for all my blessings. Just before Christmas, I spoke about how a friend of mine was worried about a particular problem which was outside of our control. And my response was to recall the prayer for serenity, which says, "God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." I was reminded that there are many aspects of our lives over which we have control, yet there are aspects of life over which we have no control. And it's our job. Dr. Bissell might even use the word duty. In fact, I'm sure he would use the word duty to discern the difference and respond appropriately. Since this year in particular has been filled with blessings, I wondered in looking back what distinguished this year from the past decade or two. Perhaps I've been able to trust that our Father in heaven would provide, and somehow the door of abundance has opened, and my life has been filled with many blessings. Did I perform some outrageous act as Rosa Parks did to open the floodgates? Perhaps it is that I've been able to have faith that our Father in heaven would provide, and he has continued to do so. My suggestion this morning, therefore, is to place your life and your many varied situations in God's perfect divine right action. Plant those seed thoughts of love, joy, peace, harmony, health, happiness, and nurture them with love and gratitude, and let go and let God take hold, and know that you know that with God all things are possible. That is, know that you know that with God all things are possible. And I say know that you know because what we're talking about is having more than faith. You know God's law. You know it's God's pleasure to give you the kingdom, and that it's simply for us to know that with God all things are possible, and that we simply must have large expectations with gratitude. We've defined faith as the connecting link between hoping and knowing. Whatever is responsible for my blessings in the past year is due, I suspect, to more than just faith, but rather due to my acceptance and knowledge that with God all things are possible, and that I know our Father in heaven provides for all our needs. So as you prepare for this new year, I encourage you to think outside the box. Do some kind of outrageous act of kindness. Pay it forward. Accept your blessings. Review your knowledge of metaphysics and the metaphysical world. Remember that you're a spiritual being living in a physical world, and that you are an inseparable part of God, that each of us, individually and collectively, are inseparable parts of God, and that together as groups, we have the power to shape our lives into whatever successes we endeavor to manifest, as long as it's good for you, the others involved, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone, and as long as it's the truth of God. Each one of us can be masters of our own destiny, and we have a new opportunity with the coming of the new year to manifest that destiny in whatever way, shape, or form is appropriate for you in your particular situation. Have faith that our Father in heaven will provide for all our needs, and that before we have asked, it is answered. For God so loves each one of us that every hair on every one of our heads is counted. Remember the Sermon on the Mount. Remember that our Father will provide as long as we have faith and believe it to be so. So my advice this morning is to let go and let God take hold. Rejoice. Remember that with God all things are possible. And whatever the outcome of the situation, as long as all concerned have faith that our Father in heaven will provide for all our needs, and knows what we want, and has answered our prayers before we have even uttered a sound, we have nothing to fear, for God will provide. Yes, there are things we cannot change. There are things we can muster the courage to change. It's up to us to exercise the wisdom to know the difference. As you take a moment to review the past year and what you would like to see happen in 2011, ask yourself if you're one of those who worry and cause ulcers, grief, and aggravation for yourself, or whether you are one of those who stands in God's flow, knowing that with God all things are possible. We've heard over and over that God knows your needs and wants, and He's answered your prayers before you have asked, and will provide for your every need as long as you understand the power and the presence of the God within. Why not allow God to answer your prayers and enrich your life with all the blessings He wishes to bestow? As you continue to enjoy this beautiful holiday season, why not take a moment to thank God for all your blessings and leave your worries behind? Go forward into 2011 with God, knowing that all things are possible. And remember to let your light so shine that others may see your good works and glorify the Father which is in heaven. Make 2011 your best year ever. It's up to you. Thank you for your attention this morning, and join me now in the acceptance statement. Now, may the light illumine our mind with wisdom. May love fill our heart with understanding. May the one life shine forth from our innermost being, so that we walk renewed in light, life, and love, today, tomorrow, and forever.